North Melbourne admit mergers were discussed, but the players revolt. League's Origin fish out of water. Croker and Furner have the flu, and Laurie's having a baby. The new cutaway rail, the government's inside run over the AJC, and in the shadow of Ondieki, an Olympic ambition by the doctor of all trainers. Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Tim Webster. Also tonight, the Opals play the US in the Ericsson Cup soccer semi-final, but first tonight, an admission from North Melbourne. They have had talks about merging with Fitzroy. The confession follows our story last night and a day of intrigue behind the scenes in Melbourne and Adelaide. After a 3-hour board meeting at Arden Street tonight, it was also denied the players were going on strike or considering a revolt over their contracts.
After constant denials about their part in a merger with Fitzroy, North Melbourne officials tonight admitted for the first time they've talked with the Lions about joining forces.
There's been no contract signed binding us to the Fitzroy Football Club, so it's a deal, his headlines are wrong. We're certainly investigating it, as our members would expect us to do. We're responsible to our members and our shareholders to do the best we can for the future of the North Melbourne Football Club, and that's what we're doing. And we'll make a thorough investigation, but to say the deal's done is far from the truth. And it may not occur. It's quite a good chance it may not occur. We have to look at every facet to see whether it's a worthwhile option for the North Melbourne Football Club.
Despite suggestions of a player revolt, with talks several key players are believed to have clauses in their contracts which could see them paid out and made free agents in the event of a merger, the club moved quickly to quash concerns.
The players' thoughts definitely come into our thinking. It's very important. I mean, this club is for the players and the members and the staff, so it is very important. But no, I have no fears that if a big if, that we would lose any of our players. No, I honestly don't think that it's a player manager's position or my position to discuss clauses in the contract, and I won't.
High-profile player manager Ricky Nixon, whose stable includes Wayne Carey, Wayne Schwass and Corey McKernan, as well as Roy's captain Brad Boyd, said today the players weren't happy.
I've had a trail of them through my office in the last 24 hours and really I can't probably give them the answers that they need, which isn't really going to help them prepare for a game.
How are they feeling?
Well, I think they're suspect about what's going on, and probably be fair to say that you know, they think that the club should stay as it is and there's got to be some sort of loyalty.
Nixon said rival clubs were already making discreet inquiries.
You can imagine who those clubs might be and you can imagine the types of players they're looking at.
What about Carey if he was out of contract?
I think if anyone who can play footy is out of contract, we're interested.
And can Carey play footy?
You really want me to answer that?
North skipper Wayne Carey said tonight he's bound to North for the rest of the season, but stopped short of saying he'll stay on if the clubs merge.
I'm playing for North Melbourne now, and I'll be playing for North Melbourne for the rest of the year, and if something changes at the end of the year, so be it. But as far as we're concerned, we've got to get into the finals and be successful this year.
And the players aren't the only ones unhappy. North supporters are up in arms over the merger, upset they have no say in the matter.
We're shareholders. Why aren't we asked what we want to do?
Why North Melbourne? Why not some other club?
Naturally, of course, you would feel sorry for the players, you know, that do lose their position.
If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And everybody says, oh, I'll give North Melbourne away. But what else is there in life but football?
Absolutely true. Now, we'd like your opinion on the proposed merger. Do you think North Melbourne and Fitzroy should get together? For yes, phone 0055 508. For no, 0055 509. Repeating, the yes vote 508, the no vote 509, with the 0055 in front of it, of course. Poll closes 5 o'clock Eastern Time tomorrow afternoon, and we'll try and update the progress results towards the end of our little program. I think the phone might run hot on that one. League now, and the latest on State of Origin. New South Wales players Jason Croker and David Furner have the flu, but both are okay. Minor trouble also for Queensland's Wendell Saylor. He did a hammy today, but the coaches appear to be more worried about the referee. League man Tony Peters explains.
Gould believes it's essential for referee David Manson to keep a consistent 10 metres.
Particularly with the better quality players, because I mean their fitness levels are higher, they're much faster off the mark, and you know, unless the referee is able to maintain a good 10, then the game deteriorates as a spectacle.
Meantime, the Queenslanders have had a scare with winger Wendell Saylor straining a hamstring. At his first coaching attempt, Paul Vaughton stunned all last year by guiding the Maroons to their 3-0 series win. But he concedes his limited coaching has its problems.
if I had one concern coming into this series, it probably is the interchange, because, you know, I'm not a coach, and it's just I'm sort of in this for 6 weeks, and I've got to learn how to use it. I've seen them use it, being in my job, and it can be quite confusing at times.
Like Gould, Vaughton wants the sides kept apart, and he tried to make light of the 10-metre concern with referee Manson.
He's got a little roly-poly around his lummox. He might be carrying a bit of condition, I don't know, but... God, can you say that?
For the first time since the State of Origin concept began back in 1980, this game in Brisbane isn't a sellout. Grandstand and out-of-ground tickets are still available.
I think it's a fallout from the problems we've had in the game over the last 12 months, and you know, you look through all the Optus Cup games this year and it's followed on to here, and I believe Sydney still had a few left after they first went on sale, so that's unusual as well.
Meanwhile, Laurie Daly has official permission to withdraw from the game if need be, with his girlfriend expecting their first baby on Tuesday.
Great game, great show, great beer. Rugby League, Sports Tonight and Han Longbrew, packing you into the front row all season long.
Still on Rugby League, and the founding father of the Auckland Warriors, Peter McLeod, has stood down as chairman over the Super League ARL conflict. He says he doesn't believe in the Super League concept. His resignation now almost certainly means the New Zealand League will not play official test matches against Australia. And the other fast-breaking story tonight, the announcement of a $35 million international Ironman series. Trevor Hendy, one of the stars mooted of the series, along with Guy Andrews. We'll follow that for you. And still ahead, it's the Ericsson Cup sudden death. And the magic goes out. Adelaide City have won their Ericsson Cup elimination semi-final, knocking out Sydney United. The Zebras winning the minor semi 1-0.
They're two of the best defensive sides in the league, but tonight Sydney United were decimated by injuries and losses to the Olyroos squad. Adelaide giving the visitors some nervous times at the start.
Yates towards the back post, and a very athletic save in the end by John Perosh.
Sydney United living dangerously, holes in their defence providing some anxious moments.
And a great header and off the line by Tarkovsky.
Adelaide with the breakthrough just before half-time, players queuing up to score, Socceroo Alex Tobin left open, Bradley Amore finding the net.
The shot falls for Armour, 1-0 Adelaide City. There it is, the breakthrough right on the stroke of half-time, and it's Bradley Armour who ends the deadlock.
Amour's only second ever Ericsson Cup goal proving to be the killer blow for Sydney. United putting Adelaide under pressure in the second half.
Turning well, David Zula shot, and a great save by Petkovic.
Sydney United unable to pass the Adelaide keeper. City taking the game 1-0. Sports Tonight's Craig McGann has more.
And just recapping the final score here at Highmarsh Stadium tonight, Adelaide City 1 defeated Sydney United 0. So Adelaide City will now meet Marconi in the preliminary final on the weekend. And with me is the Adelaide City captain, Alex Tobin. Alex, I guess a great relief to win tonight here at home.
Yeah, I was very pleased to win. It was a very hard-fought game. Perhaps it wasn't the prettiest game that could have been played of soccer, but we scored a great goal and we managed to hold on to that for the rest of the game.
You've got Marconi now away, so are you a good away side?
We are a very good away side, especially in finals, so we're very confident going in against Marconi on Sunday.
Are they a much more difficult side than Sydney United was tonight?
They'll be similar. I think they were the minor premiers, so they're obviously a formed team, and they won't be easy by any means.
Well, congratulations and good luck in the preliminary.
Thank you very much.
So the final score here, once again at Highmarsh Stadium, Adelaide City 1, defeating Sydney United 0, and they'll play Marconi now in the preliminary on the weekend.
Thanks, Craig. It wasn't the way he wanted it to end, but American basketball legend Magic Johnson has retired again. In a statement released by his agent, the LA Lakers star said this time his exit is for good. He returned to the court this year after first retiring in 1991.
I knew that was a possibility. The only sad thing for us, really, first of all, is that his great career has come to an end, and that we couldn't have ended it on a little bit of a higher note.
Magic played 32 games in his comeback year, not without its frustrations. He was suspended for 3 weeks, approaching playoff time, for bumping a referee. The Lakers were eventually knocked out by Houston in the first round of the playoffs. It's not known if Magic Johnson will retain any role with the Lakers. Former Test cricket fast bowler Jeff Lawson is confident of retaining the job of New South Wales coach. The position for next season will be announced tomorrow in Sydney. Lawson is one of 7 applicants for the position. There has been speculation some of the players are not too happy with his methods. Last season the Blues finished a disappointing 5th in the Sheffield Shield. It was Jeffrey's first year in charge. Board members met last night to discuss the whole issue. And next, high drama in harness racing. It's Gay again. The Opals' one last try against the US. And 2 of Brisbane's top jockeys out of the Winter Carnival. The punters will now get a fair go. Emphatic and hopeful words from New South Wales Premier Bob Carr. Today he announced sweeping changes to horse racing, effectively ending more than 100 years of Australian Jockey Club rule.
The state's punters deserve a fair go, and that's what this legislation will deliver them.
The new legislation will see racing controlled by a 10-member board representing all racing clubs throughout the state. There'll also be 1 member speaking on behalf of other racing interests.
Well, you'd have to think it's probably a bit of tokenism, really. You would find it difficult for one person to represent 7 so diverse groups, as Ian Temby said. They have very little in common, most of the industry participants, and so how one person could represent the 7, I fail to see it.
The lone board member will represent 7 interests, including trainers, jockeys, bookmakers, owners, breeders and punters.
I'd be willing to go on the board if I could get onto it. I'd say a few words too.
Government had the opportunity to do something and has missed that opportunity, which means we're worse off than we were before it started.
Overall, we're quite happy, with racing in general. And, if we have any complaints, we go to the AJC and they handle our matters. They confront them, quite well, and we're happy with everything, really.
And Sports Tonight can reveal stewards will make a sensational announcement regarding the charges relating to trotting trainer drivers Chris and Matthew Gleeson, who have appeared before the New South Wales Harness Racing Authority on misconduct allegations. While in Tasmania, number 1 trainer driver Neville Webberley has been scrubbed out for 2 years on charges relating to 4 positive swabs. He is appealing the disqualification.
I thought maybe that some sort of fine might take place, but to be disqualified and indeed to be disqualified for 2 years has virtually finished me in the harness racing industry. Like they're virtually saying, well, walk away and walk into the wilderness. There's nothing here for you now.
A horrific race fall at the Prime Minister's Cup meeting on the Gold Coast today. Larry Olsen and Brian York injured in this fall in the 4th race, which is just a little bit hard to see, but they were both injured in the race, taken to hospital and reported to be okay. And also important, the horses are fine too. Racing did go on though, and the good news was for Gay Waterhouse. Yet again, picking up another big race, the Prime Minister's Cup, going to electronic.
The big crowd which turned out at the Gold Coast for the Prime Minister's Cup sent Darbas out a 5-2 favourite. The Group 1 winner, Electronic, on the next line of betting at 7-2. Racing in Tommy Smith's famous blue and green colours, Electronic was trapped 3 wide for much of the race, but still had too much class in the run home.
But Electronic, it was never on the track, but it's in front with 50 metres to go from Magnet Bay and Low Mass. Electronic's just in front. What a performance. Electronic has won the Prime Minister's.
Both part owner Tommy Smith and jockey Glenn Boss believe Electronic will run well in the Brisbane Cup in a fortnight.
She's very tough. I keep saying to Gay, she's more and more like a colt than a mare because she's very athletic and she's very mean and very tough. Wants to win her races, which is always a good asset.
Star galloper Hariba showed glimpses of his best form in running a close second to Mamselle Padrille in the Carbine Club Handicap.
Hariba's running to the middle of the track of the 200. He's under the whip and Mamselle Padrille is scooting up near the fence. Hariba the leader. Mamselle Padrille is trying hard to pick up Hariba, but the big horse Hariba's just in front. Mamselle Padrille's going to grab him. Mamselle Padrille got to the lead. Mamselle Padrille beat Hariba.
Basketball now, our regular segment, Hammer Time, with Hammer Heel himself. Well, 2 big things this week, and first the Boomers camp. How's that preparation going?
Well, it's been great. We don't get the opportunity to get together too often, but when we do, we work pretty hard, and we're going 3 times a day. And the guys are pretty keen for the Olympics, obviously, but also the upcoming games against Lithuania.
Now, last week, the road trip, that Newcastle game was an absolute ripper, wasn't it?
Well, it was for the Newcastle fans. They won in overtime, but it was disappointing for the Kings, and we really felt it. It was an exciting game, though, and we came back hard the next night against the Magic, who, we think are the best team in the competition. So that was a great win for us in front of our home fans.
What about the 3-pointer to equal the match against Newcastle? Sheer skill, mate, or did you just hold your breath and shoot?
Well, it wasn't all class, I've got to tell you that, Tim, but they're always great when they go down. We got excited at the time, and, you know, I thought we may have gone on and won the game, but we obviously didn't, and, you know, it doesn't stay in the memory bank when you don't win the game.
Yeah, we just saw it there. It was a hell of a shot. OK, down to business now. It's Melbourne. You've got Copeland, Gaze and Co. Always tough.
Oh, they're a tough team, there's no doubt about it. I mean, Gaze is by far the best player in the NBL, but I think Copeland's the key to the game. If we can shut him out of it, I think the Kings have got a very good chance of winning. And, you know, winning our 4th game in a row at home, and as I say, the Kings fans will be very happy if we do that.
And Shane is back next week, Shane Heal, of course. But the Australian women's basketball team has entered the 4-team World Challenge tonight with another loss to the US. In the other game, the Ukraine beat Cuba 89-61.
Going for their 46th straight international victory, America undeniable favourites in the final. But it was Australia with the first point.
Three-pointer from Brogan.
America with an immediate reply.
It's a tit for tat, it is.
America up by 5, Michelle Timms finding range.
A long one for Timms and it's down.
10 minutes in and Trish Fallon with a pearler. Australia hit the lead by 2.
Fallon puts Australia in front.
The game turned physical. America turned up the tempo, breaking away to a 13-point lead.
Bolton, great ball handling.
Into the second session, Australia reeled America in, Cook levelling 58 apiece.
Cook.
In the final 5 minutes, America nudged ahead, Swoops a shining light.
Swoops for 3.
Ruth Bolton putting the win beyond doubt.
Brilliant, simply brilliant.
Yeah, they're more than competitive, the Opals, just that little bit to go. The official basketball headquarters is Sports Tonight. Next, running on empty. And always together, the Lions caged. Well, Lisa Ondieki is, of course, well known for being our Olympic medal hope in the women's marathon, but our other contender is right on her heels. Sue Malaxos wants a medal, and she's well on the way. Her times have improved dramatically since she moved to Canberra from Perth.
Sue Malaxos is feeling the heat of Atlanta. Inside this room at Canberra's Institute of Sport, Sue was experiencing the exact conditions she'll face during the Women's Olympic Marathon. The heat, the humidity, and even the infamous Atlanta hills.
Very hilly. Yeah, very hilly with a very steep climb to the finish. Apparently much worse than Barcelona, and everyone said Barcelona was a pretty tough course. So.
But Sue Malaxos has got plenty up her sleeve, including one of the top coaches in the land.
72.8, Sue. Good.
She's doing well tonight?
She's running very well tonight. Now we've got to remember that she's just starting to, she's got her trainings going up from 2-hour runs to 2.5-hour runs on a Sunday. She's a little bit leg weary, a little bit psychologically weary in this camp, but she's doing very well tonight, so I'm very pleased with that.
Dick Telford is Sue's new mentor, and already it's paying off. She's knocked 16 minutes of her time and is suddenly a contender.
Over a 6 to 12 week period from last November, she improved out of sight. Now she's in the Olympic team.
Partly, says Dick, because of the high-tech monitoring Sue's had since teaming up with the AIS.
So,
what's happening here?
Checking lactate samples to see how hard I've been working. I can tell him how hard I've been working.
Well, at 33 years of age, Sue's no spring chicken to be starting out in Olympic marathons. But it's that very point that Dick Telford says is working in Sue's favour. He says she has the maturity and the attitude to take her that extra distance in Atlanta. Meet Sue Malaxos, and you're inclined to agree.
You can only do your best, and if you've done everything right in preparation, you know, surely things are going to go your way on the day.
That's a great effort.
Yes, and what they have to go through. Now, updating the poll results and the question, do you think North Melbourne and Fitzroy should merge? I sort of suspected this. Yes, just 16%, 84%. And I would assume most of those calls are coming from Melbourne and the two suburbs in question. And it's pretty convincing, isn't it? Yes, 16, no, 84. Now, Neil Cordy, a former Swans champ, takes a look at a little Lions history.
In 1989, Ross Oakley's announcement sent shockwaves through the football world.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the VFL Commission and the boards of the Fitzroy and Footscray football clubs are very pleased to announce today the formation of a new force in VFL football called the Fitzroy Bulldogs.
Angry Footscray supporters thwarted the merger by raising enough money for the Dogs to continue independently.
It was then Fitzroy's turn to rattle the cans.
No AFL club in history has ever simply ceased to exist overnight. But if Fitzroy doesn't raise $800,000 by June the 30th, that's exactly what will happen.
Fitzroy raised the $800,000, but the club was still in debt. It was then the Brisbane Bears who made their first bite at the Fitzroy cherry.
If this offer isn't perhaps accepted, then the future of the club, the responsibility may be on their shoulders if the club disappears in a couple of years' time.
2 days later, the Lions fans got what they were hoping for.
Today, the board unanimously rejected the bid by the Brisbane Bears.
North Melbourne first came into the merger picture in November '93, setting the precedent for denying any interest.
Their debt would have to be taken over by the club that merged with them, and certainly North Melbourne is not interested in that.
Brisbane made their second attempt at drawing Fitzroy North to no avail, but it was Ross Oakley who got the ball moving in June last year.
We'll certainly provide some cash. We'll certainly provide them with player strength and a number of other issues like helping support their membership base.
Now even former Fitzroy president Leon Wiegard has changed his mind on Fitzroy's future.
The AFL was still selling licences interstate and the money was coming to the clubs, so we didn't know how that was going to affect us into the future. The salary cap was brand new and we didn't know how that was going to affect things. But those things are proven now and we're still getting further behind the pack, and there's no big windfall coming up for Fitzroy anywhere.
Guess we'll have to wait and see. By the way, BOC Gases will sponsor the Australian Super Tourist Championship, which starts this weekend at Amaroo Park in Sydney. We should have a nice story on that too coming up tomorrow night, my producer tells me, so that's to look forward to, and those poll results as well. Look after yourselves.